Hello from Barcelona. This is Adela Zabalegui, board member of Nursing Now campaign. Welcome to the European Nursing Now celebration. Since early this morning, we are traveling around the world from the east to the west through the 6 WHO regions. We are meeting to share stories from the Nursing Now campaign, from the Nursing Now groups, and to look forward to know how can we build on the momentum of the campaign. This event is being amazing and really inspiring to all of us. Now, and first, I want to thank all the nurses for their critical role during the COVID-19 pandemic, and my special tribute to the ones that have lost their lives and those that continue on the front line. Today, we are coming together, nurses and no-nurses, to discuss the way forward to keep our promises of raising the status and profile of nurses and midwives, to answer the global plea to protect and invest in nursing and midwife in our region and also around the world. Our ultimate goal is to achieve health for everyone, to achieve health in everywhere. Nursing Now has been possible thanks to the fundamental active collaboration of WHO and ICN. Today, we also have them participating in our celebration. WHO and ICN leaders have been such engaged partners throughout the campaign, and we are very grateful for their great commitment with Nursing Now. I also want to thank the Bardet Trust for Nursing for providing financial support. We have a very good program for all of you. Sit down and enjoy this celebration, this European Nursing Now celebration. And the best way to start is with Dr. Tedros. It is my privilege to introduce the Director General of WHO, Dr. Tedros Adhanom. Today, as all of you know, is the first date of the virtual Health of the World Assembly, and Dr. Tedros is hosting health ministers from around the world, so he cannot be with us in person. But we are delighted that he has sent us a special recorded message for all of you. And now, please, place the message from Dr. Tedros.
Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends and nurses around the world. Over the past 3 years, Nursing Now has played an extraordinary role in raising the profile and status of nurses on the global stage. The campaign has pushed countries towards action, developed a new generation of nursing leaders, and increased the influence of nursing in health systems globally. Last year, Nursing Now, WHO, and the International Council of Nurses came together to develop the first State of the World's Nursing Report. The report highlighted significant global shortage of nurses and provided policy options for countries to leverage the full potential of nurses to support the health of their communities. The COVID-19 pandemic has been especially hard on nurses, many of whom have been at the forefront of the crisis for well over a year. Thank you so much for your continued determination and commitment. As the Nursing Now campaign comes to an end, I urge countries to invest in nurses so they are supported, protected, motivated, and equipped to deliver safe care. That includes endorsing the new global strategic directions for nursing and midwifery at the World Health Assembly this week. My special thanks to Lord Nigel Crisp and Professor Sheila Tlu for the leadership they have shown as co-chairs of the Nursing Now Global Campaign Board. Nursing Now may be ending, but our work to support nurses and countries continues with the same commitment. I encourage countries, healthcare employers, and nurses to engage in the Nightingale Leadership Challenge. We have 2 more years to reach the target of training 100,000 new nurse leaders who will have a positive impact on their communities for many generations to come. Now more than ever, we need the dedication, the skills, and leadership of nurses to deliver care and to deliver a healthier, safer, fairer, and more sustainable future. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, for your excellent work to improve universal health coverage, for encourage all governments, all presidents and ministries of health to invest in nursing and midwifery. Thank you very much. Now I would like to turn to Howard Cotton as the Chief Executive Officer of International Council of Nursing. He has the energy, the strength, and the tenacity to maximize the opportunities ahead for nurses and nursing. Howard, the floor is yours.
Adela, thank you. You are very kind. ICN has been an absolutely proud partner with Nursing Now, with WHO, and I bring our most sincere and heartfelt congratulations from the ICN President Annette Kennedy and the whole of the ICN board. We think there can be no doubt that this has been the most successful nursing campaign that the world has ever seen. You have energized the profession. You have started to change traditional and outmoded perceptions of nursing, and you have lived solidarity, a word we've heard a lot of in recent months, but you have brought together the wide number of groups that are part of nursing communities and the nursing family into a powerful force for change. Our congratulations particularly to Lord Crisp, to Sheila Tlu, who have provided incredible vision and leadership for this campaign. Nigel, I did notice he's wearing, I think, his Nursing Now tie. I'm afraid I don't have a tie, but for this European celebration, I still have my Nursing Now Croatia mug. I need to get the collection from right the way around the world. We need to also acknowledge the support and the leadership of the Nursing Now board. They have provided a really important challenge to us, to challenge some of the norms that we hold, to think particularly about how we reach out and make relationships beyond nursing, but relationships which are going to be so important to deliver the sorts of sustainable changes that we need to see. And of course, to Barbara, to Catherine, to Hannah, to the staff team, an incredible job that you have done. But Nursing Now has been so much more than just a renewed sense of our own identity and a celebration in us as a profession. It has already delivered real and tangible policy change. Countries who didn't have senior and chief nursing officers who now have them. The first ever state of the world's nursing report with real data about the nursing workforce, and policy actions and recommendations that will inform the next global strategic directions for nursing and midwifery. Of course, the last 18 months of the campaign, we've had to deal with something none of us wanted or predicted in terms of the pandemic. But I honestly believe that Nursing Now meant that we were in a stronger position to advocate for the protection, the investment, the support that nursing needs, but also to highlight the leadership of nursing through this pandemic, the innovation that we have seen nurses introduce into the way that our healthcare systems are organised, and to make it patently clear to our policy and political leaders right the way around the world that the rebuilding of our health systems after this pandemic must absolutely have nurses and nursing as their foundation stones. We at ICN have been working with the Nursing Now groups over the last few months. They have transitioned to ICN and they've already been helping, advising on the next strategic directions, as well as other ICN policy priorities. And just today, a number of the Nursing Now groups were part of the ICN delegation for this week's World Health Assembly. And we're expecting that on Friday, later this week, for the first time, the nursing and midwifery strategy will be adopted by member countries on the floor of WHO. We're incredibly excited about the next steps, the next stages. Yes, this is a moment where we are turning a page, and as we do that, we look back and we celebrate, and you should all be incredibly proud of what you have achieved. But we also look forward, thanks to Nursing Now, with confidence, with strength, with belief that we can write the next chapter, and that chapter will see commitment, recognition, investment, support and protection of nurses and nursing workforce like we've never seen before. Yes, nursing has been for now, but nursing is also for our future, for all our futures and our health systems futures as well. Thank you so much, and back to you, Adela.
Thank you, Howard, for your support to the campaign. And I really want also to thank you for your excellent work during the pandemic, visualizing the professionalism of nursing and the compassion of nurses. Nursing Now also wants to thank ICN for your commitment to the campaign and for your vision to take forward the work of Nursing Now groups. Nursing Now groups are ready to keep working, to keep contributing for a better health for all. So now let me introduce you to Professor Sheila Tow and Lord Crisp as co-chairs in the campaign. First, I want to introduce Professor Sheila Tow, who is former UN AIDS Director of the Regional Support Team for Eastern and Southern Africa and former member of the Parliament and Ministry of Health in Botswana. So, Sheila, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adela, and greetings from Botswana and South Africa. It is a great pleasure for me to celebrate this event with my colleagues here in the virtual platform, and also with you, the nurses of Europe. Allow me to thank everyone who was involved in this successful campaign. My fellow co-chair, Lord Nigel Crisp, I've just been teasing him, the European, and the Nursing Now board. And of course, I want to to acknowledge you, Adela, and Elizabeth, who are board members who are participating in this event. The Nursing Now Secretariat, under the able leadership of Barbara Stilwell, colleagues at ICN and WHO, and Howard, you've already had your accolades. We really we praise you for that. And of course, you, the global nursing community. Through this campaign, we became united. And the global collaboration and the launching of the Nursing Now groups in the various countries was very inspiring. It reached 126 countries in 3.5 years. And we saw the success of the Florence Nightingale Challenge, whereby over 800 employers provided development opportunities in influential leadership for over 31,000 young nurses and midwives. That was a real success. The COVID-19 pandemic brought nurses into the spotlight and showed you, our fellow nurses, as a formidable force that can take care of humanity in all crises and in all settings. The pandemic also highlighted that the world is critically short of nurses, and to be effective, nurses need proper equipment, good working conditions, and appropriate education. Indeed, there is need to invest in nursing education and job creation. Unless this happens, the world will be short of about 6 million nurses by 2030, if not more. So let me conclude, because I want to hand over to my noble colleague. Let me conclude by focusing on young nurses who have been really encouraged by our 2 young board members to be vocal and active. These young nurses, and I'm saying this to our colleagues out there, the senior nurses, these young nurses need mentors so that they can learn, they can develop, and they should be encouraged to sign up through their employers for the Nursing Now Challenge. And this will give them opportunities to develop their leadership skills and to understand their role in policy formulation. These people are our future, and we need to develop them. Thank you, and let me pass over to my colleague, Nigel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Adela.
I want to thank Professor Toh for your enthusiasm and to vision to empower women and men in nursing and midwifery. Thank you very much. And then I want to introduce Lord Crisp. He doesn't need to have a special introduction. He's well known by all of us. But I want to recall that he's a member of the UK Parliament, where he co-chairs the all-party parliamentary group on global health. He has been also chief executive of the National Health Service in England. So, Lord Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed, Adela. And what a pleasure to be sharing a stage with you, Adela, with Sheila, and with Howard. And yes, Howard, this is the Nursing Now tartan, which was developed by Scottish nurses. And I too have my mementos. The only one I had to hand was this one, which I don't think you can see actually, but is Nursing Now Slovenia,
yes.
from Europe. So a great pleasure to join you and also pay tribute to all the work that ICN has done, but also my colleagues Adela and Elizabeth Adams, as Sheila mentioned, who are our board members for Europe, and both have been enormously active. And of course, Elizabeth has also brought in the European Federation for Nurses as well. But I want to start by congratulating and thanking nurses everywhere for what you have done during the campaign, even during these dreadful months of the pandemic that has taken such a toll. And I pay tribute to nurses and health workers everywhere for your magnificent work during the pandemic. We all owe you a great deal. And I say thank you to nurses for what you've done as part of this campaign, but also for what you will do. The campaign is over, and we've helped bring people together, I think, and produce a platform for change, but the work continues. Much more to do before we all get to where we want to be. And I do encourage you to look at our report, which is called Agents for Change. I always get the camera position wrong on this, but this is available on the Nursing Now website, but it tells the story of the campaign and has just been published. As has been said, Nursing Now does leave a legacy. The work with ICN, which Howard has mentioned, and the links with the Nursing Now groups is tremendous. Great to see that carrying on. The WHO, with its strategic directions and the work that they're doing to carry things on as well, is tremendous. And of course, the fact that the Nightingale Challenge is going to become the Nursing Now Challenge and continue for at least 2 more years is great news, with involving more and more young nurses and midwives in development opportunities. But most important, of course, all is local action. It's what happens in the town, the city, the village, the clinic that really matters to everyone. We set up this campaign because we believe that one of the biggest things you can do to improve health globally is to empower nurses, to raise the profile and status of nurses, but also to give them the position to fulfill their potential, use all your potential. And I'm even more convinced now that that is right, and that there will be development opportunities for the future coming up. And we labelled the report Agents of Change because we see nurses as critical agents of improvement and agents of change for nursing, but also for healthcare and for health more generally. Let me leave you with one final thought about the future. Our health as individuals is intimately linked to the health of the communities we live in, and intimately linked to the society that we live in, and even ultimately to the health of the planet as a whole. And I think we should bear this idea in mind as we think about the future going forward for nursing, but also for the health and well-being of everyone on the planet. So once more, congratulations to all the nurses and their allies around the world on what you have been doing during the campaign. Congratulations and thank you for everything you've done and for everything you will do.
Thank you very much, Lord Crisp, for building this campaign and inspiring all of us to keep working to improve health and well-being of patients, communities, and societies. As you said, the world really needs to invest in nurses and midwives, and also in health creators. So now it's an honor to introduce a special message from Nursing Now Royal Patron, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. She has given generously her time off to support the campaign. But before we watch her message, I'm also delighted to introduce Dr. Hans Kluge, the WHO Regional Director for Europe. We will watch his message now.
Dear colleagues, friends, when the Nursing Now campaign began 3 years ago, no one imagined that one of the campaign's goals, to empower nurses to take their place at the heart of tackling 21st century health challenges, would become such a vivid forecast of the future. Nurses and midwives are at the heart of the COVID-19 pandemic response, while being asked to maintain essential life-saving health services. They are among the frontline workers that have taught us a thing or two about resilience. Caring for patients can never be replaced by technology. Recent months have nonetheless seen digital technologies supporting and complementing your work, and more importantly, ensuring your safety. Today, I want to address nurses and midwives and express my sincere gratitude for your commitment. But I also want to ensure you that I know that applause is not enough. The performance of nurses and midwives in the past months does not come as a surprise. Having worked as a physician in places like Siberia and Somalia, I know your contribution to health systems firsthand. Nurses and midwives comprise more than half of the health workforce. They are present from birth to death, and their work is fundamental to achieving universal health coverage. Your business is leaving no one behind. That is why, long before the pandemic, the work of nurses and midwives was at the heart of the European Programme of Work, our roadmap until 2025. Indeed, the evidence has never been stronger. Health systems that engage nurses and midwives to their full capacity achieve better health outcomes. Last year, the first ever State of the World's Nursing Report estimated that we will need 4.7 million additional nurses globally over the next decade to maintain the status quo. And that was the best estimate before COVID-19 hit. So today, I challenge countries to invest in this workforce, not with quick solutions, but with approaches that protect and strengthen while also attracting new talent. Last month, WHO Europe, collaborating centers, and the European Forum of National Nursing and Midwifery Associations agreed on a roadmap for guiding regional implementation of 4 key areas. 1. Leadership. Nurses and midwives need to be at the decision-making table. 2. Jobs. We need to ensure better working conditions and proper compensated nursing and midwifery jobs. 3. Education. Education needs to be aligned with the services needed. And 4. Last but not least, service delivery. We need to optimize the roles of nurses so they work to their full scope everywhere. The only path towards resilient and agile future health systems is investing in these 4 areas. I myself, as my personal commitment to nursing and midwifery as the WHO Regional Director for Europe, last week at the International Nursing Day, I announced that I gave Ms. Maggie Langens the mandate to support the 53 WHO European member states in a new post of Senior Policy Nursing and Midwifery. To conclude, a big congratulations to the Nursing Now campaign for having worked vigorously and succeeded in raising the profile and status of nurses. I want to assure you that although the Nursing Now campaign ends now, our joint efforts and advocacy on these 2 professions continues. Thank you and good luck to us all.
Although we cannot be together in person at this closing of the Nursing Now campaign, I wanted to say a huge congratulations for the incredible work that you've done over the last 3 years. When Nursing Now was launched in 2018, we had no way of knowing just how much the work, dedication, and infinite care of nurses would be tested, needed, and appreciated. COVID-19 has highlighted the vital role that nurses provide, which we all rely on, and it's made all the more extraordinary when we consider the huge sacrifices and personal demands that have been placed on all of you by the pandemic. It has been the hardest of years, and my heartfelt thanks to you and your colleagues around the world for the incredible work you do every day. This short film shows some of the amazing work that Nursing Now has been doing over the last 3 years to develop the confidence, training, and leadership potential of over 30,000 nurses and midwives worldwide. I had the pleasure of interviewing Harriet, who is featured in the film earlier this year. Her passion, vision, and dedication to the community she cares for is both humbling and inspiring. I wish you all the very best for your future work.
Nursing Now has united nurses and their allies and created a mighty movement for change. In the 3 years since Nursing Now was launched, the campaign has led to the creation of more than 700 independent groups in 126 countries. and has seen over 31,000 nurses and midwives participating in the Nightingale Challenge.
Nursing Now has opened huge opportunities by involving me in high-level discussions and meetings with global health partners, including WHO.
Over the last 3 years, I have been involved as part of the board in contributing towards the voice of young nurses.
Working with Nursing Now, I learned the importance of working together, networking, sharing, advocacy, the need of empowering early career nurses, and the importance of working with data in hand.
Definitivamente, Nursing Now nos vino a enseñar la importancia de la enfermería a nivel mundial, pero también la importancia de la necesidad de enfermeros y enfermeras en puestos de liderazgo y su participación política en los sistemas sanitarios.
The Nightingale Challenge has been a really brilliant opportunity to galvanise nurses across the globe.
Through the partnership with Badet Trust for Nursing, we are implementing our Nightingale Challenge project in Uganda, which aims at building resilience of nurses and midwives in provision of adolescent-friendly sexually reproductive health services.
It has been an exciting opportunity in being able to learn about leadership and what goes into global health decision-making.
It is very clear that no country will ever be able to achieve its goal for universal quality healthcare for citizens without investing in their nurses and midwives.
Nurses are vital agents of change who can improve health and transform healthcare. It's time to invest in nursing and enable nurses to work to their full potential. Over the next 2 years, the Nursing Now Challenge will work to reach over 100,000 nurses and midwives, inspiring the next generation of nursing and midwifery leaders across the world. Please join us as we work together to ensure access to health for everyone, everywhere.
Hello and welcome to our roundtable session. My name is Kieran and it is a privilege to be here. We've got an action-packed session for you where we will hear from nurses from all around Europe about the work that is happening right now in our global community. As I said, my name is Kieran. I'm from Ireland and I work as an emergency nurse in London. I first got involved with Nursing Now nearly 2 years ago to the date, where I attended the World Health Assembly with 22 other young nurses from around the world. Because of Nursing Now, over that 2 weeks, we got to experience global health, real world change in action. And since then, our lives have been transformed. In the last 2 years, I have witnessed Nursing Now's true power of connecting nurses all around the world and helping us all to collaborate on our issues that we wouldn't have been able to do beforehand. So let's get into the session. First up, we have Valentina Sarkisova coming to us from Russia. Valentina is an honored health worker from the Russian Federation and president of the Russian Nursing Association. I would like to thank Nursing Now Russia and Valentina for sending us this message.
Dear colleagues, I sincerely thank the organizers for the opportunity to share what the Russian Nurses Association managed to accomplish in the framework of the Nursing Now Russia campaign. For us, 2020 was full of hopes, achievements, events and face-to-face meetings in the home city of Russian nurses, St. Petersburg. Unfortunately, we were not able to celebrate the launch of the event, of the campaign and the International Year of the Nurse properly. But the worst year of the pandemic has made us many times stronger and has strengthened the trust in nurses of our society. As part of the campaign, we plan to strengthen information policy and communication, to conduct 12 online events. We wanted to allow many more nurses to be virtually present and join the key professional events. Planning of 12 conferences seemed like a big challenge and a huge task. We have planned also to prepare a new version of the Code of Ethics of Russian nurses, as well as to accelerate our efforts to transfer new clinical authority to nurses. The pandemic has made its own big adjustments, and we have done much more than we could ever imagine. We conducted a series of online events to provide nurses with psychological support, searched for personal protective equipment, translated and distributed international guidelines which were so important at the early stages of pandemic. Despite all the difficulties, we held the first vocal contest for our country, the Voice of the Russian Nurse. Who, if not us, can appreciate the talent of a person who spends days and nights providing complex patient care and now appears in front of us as a singer? We planned 12 online conferences, but in reality we held more than 70. Collaboration with the Ministry of Health has reached a completely different level. Looking at nurses and seeing us as a huge force, the Minister of Health asked the RNA to organize an all-Russian conference dedicated to patients and health workers' safety and supported with a nationwide campaign. The new website provided an opportunity not only to inform but also to communicate the most important nursing innovations, allowing changing the professional role. There are the facts supporting the political work that we have been doing for several years. The previous edition of the Code of Ethics was approved 10 years ago. New version supported important professional values to keep and improve practice, to be united with the patients and the community, to defend the progress of nursing profession. Meetings with healthcare leaders became so frequent. In October 2020, we were able to launch Nursing Now Russia with online event, inviting global leaders, speakers and participants from many countries. More than 140 nurses from Armenia, Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Moldova republics joined us to learn as much as possible about the global issues. We managed to strengthen the political dialogue. By the end of the year, the Russian Ministry of Health issued an order to delegate specific tasks from doctors to nurses. This is the first step towards removing barriers to advanced nursing practice. Throughout the year, we lobbied for the decision to appoint a nurse for the post of a chief nursing officer in Russia. These days, with a great hope, we are waiting for the final decision to be made. After all, there is so much to do. This year, the RNA launched Leadership for Nursing project. We plan to train 100 nurses and midwives to be ready to defend the profession in all regions. We will have to push for changes in education, in practice and management. We will have to push for more and more leadership power for nurses. But we are confident that with such a tremendous support of the global campaign, the International Council of Nurses and such talented nurses, we will succeed. And in conclusion, a small musical gift to all the leaders and participants of the global Nursing Now campaign. A Russian folk song performed by the pediatric nurse Жанна Ильина.
Запретила,
thank you, Valentina, for sending us that message. It is so inspiring to hear about the fantastic work being done by nurses in the Russian Federation and around Eastern Europe. And thank you so much for sending us that beautiful traditional folk song performed none other by a pediatric nurse, accompanied by live images on the front line by, I assume, nurses in the Russian Federation, images that are so familiar to us all after this year. Next, can I introduce Naya Hernandez, coming to us from Spain. Naya is a registered nurse with a master's and a PhD in nursing. Her research focuses on capacity building for intersectoral action for health at local government. Naya.
Thank you, Kieran. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. This is a big honor for me being here today representing the Spanish nurses. And well, in Spain, more than 100 nursing now groups have been registered at both regional and local levels. Also, several regional health departments and the Spanish Ministry of Health have demonstrated their commitment with the campaign. In this regard, the consolidation of these groups and the advocacy exercise resulted have allowed the establishment of a nursing reference network at national level. Besides, nurses have had greater participation at regional policy level, where we need to keep working on, and the main issues surrounding the profession have been highlighted, namely the nursing staff constraints, the necessity in improving working conditions, and the relevance of giving the nurses a seat on the table and putting them on the political agenda. At the international level, the Nursing Now campaign has pursued 5 core areas that, yet pertinent, have proved difficult to achieve due to the current COVID-19 pandemic, which has forced to reorient nurses' main efforts to the healthcare practice. Those 5 aims have a political component. However, nurses' policy influence certainly remains an outstanding subject. The fine-tuning of the investment in education, professional development, and improvement on the working conditions require structural changes that are made in the policy field. Also, the access to leadership positions requires to develop our political competence in addition to managerial competence. And of course, we do not only need to increase and improve the dissemination of our practices, but we also must spread them out, showing political benefits and using political language. So, paying attention to one of the aims of the campaign, nurses need higher participation in the policymaking process, in the elaboration of health policies, and also in the process of making all the public policies be healthier. Why? Because health is the result of political processes, and so is nurses' development, which is necessary for people's health improvement. So these are the 2 aspects which we need to keep working on. On the one hand, health is a result of the living conditions surrounding population, and the healthcare system barely has capability to influence people's context, as it puts its main focus on the treatment of the disease inside hospitals. And the 75% of causes that make people get sick are out of the healthcare system's scope. Therefore, this requires that nurses put the focus at the community and city levels. We urgently need to extend our practice to those fields and include in our agenda the social determinants of health. On the other hand, this will require the display of the nurses' political competence attributes. Nurses have faced numerous historical barriers that have made political participation a big challenge, but we have never been in a better position to overcome them. Nursing bachelor degrees have started to pay attention to political development. Still a lot of work to do here. The feminist movements have never been so strong before, and the research in the nursing field has started to go beyond the healthcare system. Despite the campaign coming to its end today, we need to keep working hard. We need to continue demonstrating a nurse's strength tomorrow. And now more than ever, we need to create synergies and work so that the nurses' development lives up to the impact their role can make. Thank you.
Thank you, Naya, so much for joining us today. I can tell you are a true passionate advocate of nursing, I have no doubt that the profession of nursing and the position of our profession is in very safe hands in Spain. One of the reasons that I'm really grateful for being involved with Nursing Now is that I've been able to get to know so many nurses around the world with your spirit and passion for our profession. Real, true advocates for nursing. It's really great to see. Next up, we have Charlotte McCardle. Charlotte is the Chief Nursing Officer in Northern Ireland and a visiting professor at the University of Ulster, Faculty of Health Science. Charlotte actually is one of the people that I have got to know from Nursing Now. If it wasn't from Nursing Now, Charlotte and I might not have met, but we've got to know each other. We've met a couple of times now over the last 2 years, and it really is great to see your familiar face back again today. Charlotte.
Thanks, Kieran. It's great to see you two today and great to see young nurses coming forward into a global platform. As Kieran says, I'm Charlotte McCardle. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer in Northern Ireland, and I'm delighted to share with you today our Nightingale campaign, Nursing Now campaign from Northern Ireland at this very, very prestigious end of the campaign conference. And it's a real pleasure for me to share with you today our story. And I want to say thank you to everybody at Nursing Now from Northern Ireland. And I know that some of our young nursing Nightingale students are on this virtual call. So to start, I thought we would show you a very short video in relation to our story so far. Thank you. We launched the Nursing Now Northern Ireland campaign in 2018 with a pledge to raise the profile and status of nurses and midwives, focusing on public health, homelessness, value and diversity, and investing in leadership. The patron of Nursing Now, the Duchess of Cambridge, described nursing and midwifery as one of the most trusted professions. The Northern Ireland Nightingale Challenge Global Leadership Programme has empowered young nurses and midwifery leaders. Our adoption of the continuity of midwifery carer model has a profound impact on maternity provision. It is clear that COVID-19 has amplified inequalities across the world. Nurses have a significant role to play addressing the social determinants of health and sustainable development goals. The Nurses for Health Equity report will help nurses to address health inequity and maximise our contribution to improving world health. In a time like no other, our nurses and midwives have made our campaign a monumental success. We are so proud of all of you. So when we launched our campaign back in January 2019, it was very clear that the healthcare system in Northern Ireland and indeed across the world needed to change to address the increasing demand and transform from being a very reactive system to a proactive system with a clear focus on health and not just the provision of health care. But you cannot focus on health without focusing on social determinants of health, as where we are born, live, learn, work and play impacts on our health outcomes. The Health Equity Report clearly shows that COVID-19 is exposing and amplifying inequalities across the world. This health issue has huge ramifications for social welfare and public health. Nurses and midwives, all 28 million of us, have a significant role to play in addressing the social determinants of health and in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by building a more equitable and sustainable world for all. The global status of nursing enables us to work for a fairer society by doing something more about health inequality. Nurses are, of course, vital agents for change who can improve health globally, as they are the largest professional group, the most trusted profession, with the greatest reach in society from work in the community to intensive care, as we've seen during the pandemic. And one of the legacies of the Nursing Now campaign is a global connection, solidarity and strength. It has shown us that we as nurses are stronger when we are connected and when we work together. A legacy for Northern Ireland in our campaign is the Nurses for Health Equity report. I hope that it will continue to connect nurses and inform practice from the world's 28 million nurses to meet population health needs everywhere. It is a set of practical guidance and guidelines which offer measurable and pragmatic opportunities to advance the work of nurses and promote health equity throughout the lifespan and population of the world. Adaptation of the guidelines will help achieve equitable and universal health coverage by 2030 and beyond. The guidance can be downloaded from the Whso website, and I was very pleased to chair the group who developed them. But this, of course, needs nursing leadership. And that brings me to our Nightingale Challenge. The pandemic has demonstrated the value of nursing and the importance of leadership development. It is extremely important to me that we harness the potential of future leaders like Kieran here today and many others. And I was so delighted to lead the Nightingale Challenge Global Leadership Development Programme in Northern Ireland. The most unique feature of the global programme was the opportunity of learning much more about global health and the Sustainable Development Goals. Within our programme, we had global associate programmes, which give the opportunity from young nurses and midwives from across the globe to join with us in Northern Ireland and our activities. This programme was facilitated by Dr. Catherine Hanaway, and I'm very grateful to Catherine for her time, commitment and dedication to young nurses and midwives around the world. This played an important role in linking nurses and midwives together across the globe and enabling them to discuss issues, share ideas and support each other. What a time to be learning and sharing. Who would have thought that that would have been the year in which we were developing global leadership? The Nightingale Challenge programme has equipped and empowered the next generation of nurses and midwifery leaders, and it has developed a remarkable network of young professionals who can work together and who can influence the future. The Nursing Now campaign has definitely raised the profile and status of nurses and midwives and connected us across the world. And I look very much forward to working on the Nursing Now Challenge for the future. The future is bright with young nurses and midwives and the calibre of our young nurses and midwives around the world. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you today, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Such a great message, and as lovely to hear from you and lovely to hear about what's happening in Northern Ireland. There's one thing you said that I really liked. You said that nurses are the agents for change. And I really agree with that. As the largest health workforce, nurses have the power to make change to our patients, our populations, and to the people we care for. So we can all remember that. Next up, I'd like to introduce Shirley Lewis. Shirley is coming to us from Israel, and Shirley is the head of the Department for Nursing Registration and Licensure at the Ministry for Health at Israel. Shirley.
Thank you. The Nursing Now Israel campaign was led nationally by the Nursing Division in the Ministry of Health. The Global Nursing Now campaign goals correspond to the main core component of the division's strategic goals. The campaign was launched in November 2018 during our annual conference of senior nursing manager with fun-filled morning workout. We choose this activity to frame nurses' crucial role in health promotion. The theme of the conference was Healthcare, the Israeli Mosaic, being that Israel's population is characterized by diverse multicultural populations and healthcare workforces. This multicultural makeup emphasizes our strength and our message now more than ever for coexistent unity and solidarity. For me personally, the campaign raised the awareness that nurses around the world face natural challenges. This might highlight the importance of the networking nurses around the world and the significance of sharing their stories and ideas of how to face these challenges and strengthening nurses' voices. During the campaign, alongside the main core activities of developing the profession, nurses became more active in the media, sharing their stories, educating and sharing professional matters. The COVID-19 outbreak emphasized again the power and importance of nurses around the world as the backbone of healthcare system. Nurses are leading the fight against COVID-19 while maintaining the soul of nursing practice, compassion, determination for innovation, professionalism and leadership. During this period, the nurses and other healthcare personnel received public recognition and media publicity. For the first time during Israel 2020 and 2021 Independence Day, nurses were honored to light a torch at the Independence Day torch lighting ceremony on Jerusalem Mount Herzl. The nursing management and the Israeli Ministry of Health is also leading the Nightingale Challenge Israel with 10 programs in different healthcare systems. We are currently planning to engage them as a group of young leaders. Initially, an invitation was circulated requesting participation from hospitals, HMO, nursing schools, and faculties, inviting them to partake in the global challenge. We saw this challenge as an opportunity to connect to the international network of health organization leaders, share information, ideas, and initiatives for young leadership training, and learn from successful international practices. The call for their participation encouraged the organization to build a creative, flexible training program adapted to their organizational needs and characteristics. We welcomed this challenge and perceived it as an opportunity for inspiration, partnership, and leadership. We follow our activities and advertise them on our Facebook page and Instagram account. These all serve as ground to enlarge the volume of professional education for nurses and to broaden the scope of practice for nurses. I would like to take this opportunity to applaud the Nursing Now campaign and to thank the campaign leaders for the legacy and the footprints you are establishing so we can follow your footsteps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shirley, for joining us today and for sending us that message, letting us know about the work happening by nurses in Israel today. I'm so looking forward to meeting some of your young nurse leaders along my path as well. Well, we're coming to the end of our session now. Together with Valentina, Naya, Charlotte, and Shirley, I'd like to thank Nursing Now so much for bringing us all together and helping us all work together on problems that we never would have been able to do beforehand without the power and presence of Nursing Now. Such a true campaign just there for nursing. I would like to introduce two videos now that will end our session. And these videos come from Dr. Rafael Bengoa and Sandra Ibarra. Rafael is an expert in management and public health and a strong advocate of universal public health. And Sandra is the founder of founder and president, of the Sandra Ibarra Foundation, a non-profit organization promoting awareness and research in the field of cancer. Thank you.
So good day to all. First of all, in relation to education, we're seeing that many young people are surging towards studying medicine when actually we know that the next decades are going to be defined by the numbers and the capacity of our nurses. The care agenda is growing, and I think it is important for both WHO and for countries to reinforce their nursing capacity in general and nursing education. In relation to the health system that we then put them in, it is still a very fragmented system, a system in which nurses cannot express their full capacity and their knowledge. So we need to start moving towards integrated health and social care, where the care agenda can then be fully realized mainly by the nursing. One concrete proposal for rich countries which are now going, many of them, to be receiving many recovery funds, for example, here in Europe. And one concrete proposal would be for them to be using these recovery funds, or many of these recovery funds, precisely to reinforce the nursing and the care agenda in their countries, and therefore not be taking away, of course, nurses from low-income countries where they are needed even more. This is important because we have been selfish, I think, in the rich part of the world with vaccines. We've developed a two-tier world in relation to vaccines. So let's not continue repeating that in relation to nursing. And finally, I'd take this moment to thank, of course, all the nurses for keeping alive during this pandemic the word of compassion, which of course has been in many places disappearing, and it's thanks to nursing that it is alive. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Sandra Ibarra, president of the foundation that bears my name, and a member of Nursing Now Madrid. I'm a survivor of 2 cancers. I have spent a large part of my life in hospitals and therefore close to nurses and main nurses. Who was going to tell us that on the 200th anniversary of Florence Nightingale, nursing was going to take on the extraordinary role? It has been a very hard way of realizing their importance, the value of their care, but hopefully it helps that the governments understand the backbone role of nursing within our health system and invest in it. It's time to reset the world, to improve it, and thanks to Nursing Now, we have the opportunity to take a step forward, and as Florence used to say, I would rather die in the sea 10 times swimming towards a new world than stay on the beach with the crossed arms. Thank you, nurses of the world, for giving life to so many patients like me. Nursing is now.
Thank you, Dr. Bengoa, and thank you very much, Sandra Ibarra, for your words and your participation in this European Nursing Now celebration. And now is the time for me to introduce a very important nurse in Europe and in the world. I am very happy to introduce Elizabeth Iro. She is the World Health Organization Chief Nursing Officer. Ms. Iro was Secretary of Health in Cook Islands. She was the first nurse and woman to be appointed to this role in her country. She also held various nursing roles such as Chief Nursing Officer and President of the Cook Islands Nursing Association. So, Ms. Island, thank you very much for participating also in this European Nursing Now celebration. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Adela. Dear Excellencies, colleagues, this has just been a fantastic event to follow around the globe today. The Nursing Now campaign has for sure ignited a response from nurses in the European region and all over the world that has prompted efforts to raise the status of nursing and amplify the importance of their roles and contributions to universal health coverage. And additionally, calling for more government chief nursing and midwifery officers in the region, in countries, has been heard very loud and clear. And on that note, I want to acknowledge the appointment of Maggie Langens in the European office, because I think this is key to take forward key strategies to strengthen nursing and midwifery in the region. This is indeed a positive signal, and we urge governments to invest in nursing and nursing leadership and hope to see more government chief nursing and midwifery officers in the region. Nursing Now was a key partner of the International Year of the Nurse and the Midwife, which further increased the visibility of nurses in a year designed for celebration and positive advocacy. But the spotlight fell on our global nursing workforce for a very different reason indeed. As COVID-19 spread around the world, we faced the greatest challenge our profession has ever seen. Overwhelmed by the pandemic, our communities around the world drew strength and support from our established national and global connections and networks, and nurses were able to share their realities and lessons learned. It has not been easy. The response and actions alongside those of our health and care workers around the world has shown the world the critical role nurses have in healthcare systems. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, in 2020, the World Health Organization launched the first ever State of the World Nursing Report, as many of our other colleagues have mentioned, which has informed the Global Strategic Directions for Nursing and Midwifery 2021-2025. Again, Nursing Now is a key partner in the development of these documents. And this week, the Strategic Directions for Nursing and Midwifery will be discussed at the World Health Assembly, where a resolution on nursing and midwifery will be presented. This will be an important consideration for our health ministers. These documents have provided a roadmap for strengthening nursing going forward. It has provided a series of recommendations and policy options to strengthen the nursing profession and the midwifery profession, and covers areas of education, employment, leadership, and service delivery. With health ministers' support of these strategies, we have a more positive opportunity to implement the policy options that are important in your countries. WHO designated 2021 the International Year of the Health and Care Workers, and its theme to protect, invest together echoes the legacy of the Nursing Now campaign to strengthen nursing for universal health coverage and to continue to elevate the status and voice of nursing in health for all. As Nursing Now takes its next steps, its legacy is one of global connection, solidarity, and strength. It has shown us that we are stronger when we are connected and when we work together. We must continue to work together in every country to ensure that nursing is not just for now, but fit for the future. The Nursing Now Challenge and our young nurse and midwife leaders is sure to light this next chapter. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your great leadership, for your commitment, for your hard work within nursing and also at WHO. You have told us good news. WHO will discuss the strategic directions for the next future years for nurse and midwife. We hope that all ministers will endorse this strategic direction, and then we can hold them accountable for implementation. We have to make sure that those strategic directions are implemented. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And now is the time to give the floor to the President of the European Federation of Nurses Association, Professor Elizabeth Adams. She is also Director of Professional Development with the Irish Nurses and Midwives Organisation in Ireland. She is the elected President of the European Federation of Nurses Associations, which represents 3 million nurses across Europe. Professor Elizabeth Adams, the floor is yours.
Good day, distinguished guests and delegates. It's a very hard task to follow one of the greatest chief nurses that we have in WHO, and of course Adela, who is a fantastic leader across Europe, and it's such a pleasure to be here. And as member of the Nursing Now board and president of the European Federation of Nurses, representing 3 million nurses, on behalf of nursing and midwifery throughout Europe and the world, we have been privileged to have the Duchess of Cambridge as the patron for the Nursing Now campaign. In addition, I want to sincerely thank the Nursing Now board and co-chairs, Lord Nigel Crisp and Professor Kluge, who are the co-chairs, and of course Baroness Mary Watkins, our alternative chair, all who have worked relentlessly over the past 3 years plus. And it's we owe a great debt of gratitude as well to Lord Crisp for his incredible vision and leadership and adopting nursing and midwifery and making a real difference to our profession. And it's a sincere thanks. Of course, we have to recognise Barbara as Executive Director and her amazing team that has done incredible work on a very small budget going forward. It has been absolutely amazing. And if you followed, I have been following this from 5:30 British time this morning, and the wonderful choir that we had had in Tongo that led us off. It's just been a wonderful celebration, and it's wonderful that we have these global footprints through. It's really professional, and a real credit to the team. We also have to applaud the Burdett Foundation and, of course, Shirley Baines, who believed in the campaign and provided the initial funding to grow the vision and make it actually happen. And we sincerely thank all the national nursing associations, and in particular Adela, for the amazing work that she has done. Genuinely, she is a powerhouse, an incredible leader, and not only across Spain but all across Europe. So thank you. And the hundreds of groups for their persistence, their creativity in campaigning to raise the profile and status of nursing. Of course, all that has been achieved is only the starting point, and we heard that throughout the morning and the day. With the Nursing Now campaigns group now under the leadership of ICN, which is wonderful, the amazing work that Elizabeth Iro is doing in relation to the strategic directions, and of course Professor Lisa Platt, who is leading on the Nursing Now challenge and chaired, of course, by Dame Christine Beasley, with the support of the Burdett Foundation, with a target of 100,000 nurses and midwives availing of leadership programs in the future. And what an amazing legacy that we will be putting in for the future. During the pandemic, our political and global policy leaders and citizens witnessed the brave, heroic, compassionate and commitment of nurses who care for the most vulnerable, preserve millions of lives on a daily basis, and provide comfort and dignified care at the end of life, and to their own detriment in relation to mental health and also their physical well-being. The greatest recognition that can be afforded to nurses and midwives is the incorporation of their problem-solving expertise into the co-creation and co-design of policies as the end users who will translate that policy into actual reality. The Nursing Now campaign has been central to making this happen and has shone a light on nurses and midwives' important contribution and has provided a vehicle to bring the value of nursing to the highest political levels. It is evident that investment in nursing and midwifery and strategies for recruitment and retention is a vital pillar to ensuring the building of healthier, safer, fairer, resilient and more sustainable health systems with the capacity for any unexpected crisis that will protect the people, planet and the prosperity of our world. Finally, investing in nursing and midwifery is a certain investment in the health of nations and people around the world. And before I give you every good wish, I want to flag with everybody the wonderful book that Nigel has authored. And it's Health is Made at Home, Hospitals Are for Repairs. It's building a healthy and health creating society. And I could only recommend it to everybody for the amazing, insightful lessons that we can learn in relation to that. So every good wish for continuing the work and building on the achievements of the Nursing Now campaign. Thank you, and I'll hand back to Adela.
Thank you very much, Professor Adams, for your excellent participation today and also last Friday at the World Health Summit, where you clearly articulate the need of governments to invest in nursing and midwifery, education, jobs, practice, and leadership. Thank you very much. So we are coming to the end of this European Nursing Now celebration, and it's the time to look to the back and see how many Nursing Now groups do we have all over the world and also in Europe. Nursing Now reached 126 countries in 3.5 years. It has been wonderful today to hear about the work of Nursing Now groups and Nightingale Challenge programs in Europe. In the last 2 years, over 31,000 nurses and midwives have been enrolled in the leadership development training thanks to the Nightingale Challenge, and more than 7,000 of them were here in Europe. As you know, next month, the Nightingale Challenge will officially become the Nursing Now Challenge and will work to reach over 100,000 nurses and midwives in more than 150 countries by the end of 2022. Please stay tuned for more information about this exciting new challenge under the leadership of Lisa Baylis-Pratt. As has mentioned along this conference, healthcare delivery is strained because of the tremendous pressure from the demands of COVID-19 and the challenges confronted by other healthcare problems like chronic diseases and population aging. Therefore, many countries are rethinking healthcare, a context calling nurses to become reform change agents. Our professional responsibility in healthcare includes using our voice to advocate for our patients, citizens, and also healthcare system. Now, nursing knowledge and expertise is in a high demand. And at the same time, the world is critically short of nurses. So more nurses need to be graduated from the European universities and nursing schools. We have good nursing education at the European region. However, the effective nurses in Europe region, we need for that effectiveness proper working conditions. We need harmonization of regulation for advanced practice nursing, more active participation in decision-making, and of course, as has been mentioned before by Elizabeth Iron, we need a chief nurse officer in every government with all the roles and responsibilities, and of course, with the staff and budget that requires. The evidence of nursing effective and efficient outcomes is clear. It's clear in the State of the World Nursing Report, in the final Nursing Now report, and also even in the Lancet. Just the International Nurses Day, Linda Aiken and her team published a new paper documenting the importance of the role of nurses to also save lives. Therefore, nurses and midwives, together with other healthcare professionals and other professionals, have the unprecedented opportunities to drive change, to shape the future of healthcare by focusing on health promotion, disease prevention, care integration, and also healthcare coordination with social aspects. We are a trusted voices. We have gained public support, and we have the commitment to healthcare improvement. So now is the time for all of us to be engaged in policy development process, becoming relevant players in the political arena as well. We need to speak with a unified, professional, and confident voice. We need to work together. Much more needs to be done in healthcare and social care and well-being. Let's join forces to set priorities and make a wide-reaching improvements in patient care in health and healthcare system. Yes, as I want also to talk about nursing leadership. I think nursing leadership is essential to assure that the voice and the wisdom of the largest healthcare group of professionals is heard, contributing to the transformation of healthcare system. Nurses and midwives' unique contribution to healthcare team and society is maximizing when governments really invest in nursing education, jobs creation, practice, and leadership. Dear friends, dear colleagues, dear members of Nursing Now groups from different countries, this is not the end, but the beginning of the new opportunities. We are going to continue working together. Let me take this opportunity, this final opportunity, to thank all our speakers in this European celebration and the other celebrations that we have had since early this morning. I also want to thank Nursing Now board members, the staff, and of course, each and every one of you who are watching online today. My very best wishes to all of you. Goodbye